So we're doing our OHL history series, and we've now made it to the point where the league really looks like what it does today. We had two relocations going into 2015, 2016. First, the Plymouth Whalers. They would remain in the state of Michigan to become the Flint Firebirds. There was a push at the time to bring back the Flint Generals name, which was used by two past teams in that city, but the Oshawa Generals and the OHL already using that name, they decided to go with Firebirds, really leaning into the automotive history for the state of Michigan. And of course, I feel as though it's one of the more fun names in the Canadian Hockey League, the Flint Firebirds. And then we also have the Belleville Bulls, who moved into the first Ontario Center in Hamilton. This move was a little quick, as Michael Anlauer purchasing the Belleville Bulls to move into Hamilton with the shuffle of the Montreal Canadiens moving their American Hockey League affiliate to St. John's, Newfoundland to become the Ice Caps. And as a result, this one season, the Belleville Bulls would play in Montreal Canadiens colors before adopting the black and gold look that they have today. And also to note, this is the first time the OHL has been back in Hamilton since the Dukes of Hamilton left for Guelph in 1991. And there's been several teams who've played out of the city of Hamilton, and the Hamilton Bulldogs, just the latest example going into this season. So let's look at the standings for 2015-2016. Starting off in the West Division, the Sarnia Sting. What a year they had. They finished with a record of 42-19-5-2 for 91 points, while the Windsor Spitfires, second with a record of 40-21-6-1 for 87 points. The Sioux Greyhounds, third in the division, 33-27-7-1 for 74 points, while the Saginaw Spirit, they would finish fourth with a record of 24-37-4-3 for 55 points. And then at the bottom of the division, missing the playoffs, the Flint Firebirds in their first season with a record of 20-42-4-2 for 46 points. In the Midwest Division, the Erie Otters found themselves on top yet again, this time with a record of 52-15-1 for 105 points. They edged out the London Knights for first in the division, who had a record of 51-14-2-1, also 105 points. Third in the Midwest, it would be the Kitchener Rangers, 44-17-5-2 is their record for 95 points. While the Owen Sound Attack, fourth with a record of 32-25-8-3 for 75 points. And missing the playoffs this year would be the Guelph Storm with a record of 13-49-4-2 for 32 points. Over in the Central Division, it would be the Barrie Colts, once again on top with a record of 43-22-0-3, 89 points. The North Bay Battalion, they were second, 35-23-6-4 was their record for 80 points. The Niagara IceDogs, third with a record of 35-26-4-3, 77 points. The Mississauga Steelheads, fourth, 33-32-3 was their record for 71 points. And missing the playoffs yet again would be the Sudbury Wolves with a record of 16-46-5-1 for 38 points. Now in the East Division, the Kingston Frontenacs, a team you don't typically see at the top of the division, they would win the East with a record of 46-17-3-2 for 97 points. The Ottawa 67, second with a record of 36-29-2-1 for 75 points. While the Peterborough Petes, third with a record of 33-28-2-5, 73 points. The Oshawa Generals, fourth with a record of 27-33-4-4. That was for 62 points. And missing the division, or missing the playoffs rather, would be the Hamilton Bulldogs with a record of 25-35-8 for 58 points. Now, it was not a smooth transition for the Firebirds into the Ontario Hockey League, as at the start of the year, there was some controversy with head coach John Gruden, as he was fired following an overtime win against the Oshawa Generals. The speculation at the time was because the owner's son wasn't getting enough playing time. That was the rumor when this firing happened. And then following this event, all the players went into the front office and handed over their jerseys to show solidarity for their head coach. So, yeah, a bit of a headache here for the Flint Firebirds early on. Gruden and the coaching staff, they were brought back 24 hours later, and they were all given 3-year extensions, and it was water under the bridge, so we thought. But that wasn't the end of it. Gruden, he would be fired a second time during the course of the OHL season, and this is when the Ontario Hockey League would actually step in. Rolf Nilsson, who was the owner, he was suspended by Commissioner David Branch, and the team fined $250,000. They also lost their first-round pick in 2016, so Yeah, what a first impression it was for the Flint Firebirds in the Ontario Hockey League. And also to note, if Nelson interfered once again, the OHL said he would be forced to sell the team. What was going on in Michigan? Plymouth, the Whalers had stability for all these years. Carmano sells the team, and in Flint's first season, we get some drama and whatnot. But don't worry, the Flint Firebirds, things would settle down after this first year. Now, I already mentioned that how the Kingston Frontenacs were tops in the East Division. This was their first division win since 1994-95, when it was still known as the Leyden Division. The Kingston Frontenacs is an organization hard-pressed, no OHL championships or OHL finals appearances. So these division wins, quite significant for this franchise, as they've been just trying to get something going, getting that consistency. And we're starting to see that, I feel, with the Kingston Frontenacs today. But at this point, their second division title. Now, at the end of the regular season, the Niagara IceDogs, they would head in a new direction, as Marty Williamson wouldn't return as GM coach. He would actually go on to join Brock University before coming back to Barrie at the time of recording. And right now, he is the general manager after giving up his head coaching job with the Barrie Colts. Also, at the end of the season, the Wolves would go through an ownership change. At the time, the Burgess family was the longest serving ownership group in the Ontario Hockey League, and they would end up selling the team to Dario Zulich. I know a lot of fans in the OHL at the time, or a lot of Sudbury fans, were eager for some sort of change. There was the controversy with Connor Burgess. I'm not going to get into those details, but there was a lot of fans in the Nickel City who wanted to see a change in ownership, and the Burgess family, they would sell to Dario Zulich. Now, looking at the top scorers from the OHL in 2015-2016, Kevin LeBanc, the Barrie Colts, he led the way. 39 goals, 88 assists, 127 points. Second in scoring is Christian Dvorak from the London Knights. 52 goals, 69 assists, 121 points. Mitch Marner from the London Knights, he would be third. 39 goals, 77 assists, 116 points. Dylan Strome of the Erie Otters, fourth in scoring. 37 goals, 74 assists, 111 points. Matthew Tkachuk from the London Knights, he had 30 goals, 77 assists, 107 points. And then we have Andrew Mangiapane of the Barrie Colts, 51 goals, 55 assists, 106 points. Alex DeBrincat of the Erie Otters, next in scoring, 51 goals, 50 assists, 101 points. Travis Konechny, he split time between Ottawa and Sarnia, 30 goals, 71 assists, 101 points. Ninth in scoring from the North Bay Battalion, Michael Amadio, 50 goals, 48 assists, 98 points. And rounding out the top 10 would be Christian Fisher of the Windsor Spitfires, 40 goals, 50 assists for 90 points. Looking at the playoff picture, the Erie Otters, they would have no problems in the opening round against the Saginaw Spirit, winning that series in 4 straight. Now, the Sarnia Sting, this has been a trend. Every time they win the division, it's an early playoff exit, and this time at the hands of the Sioux Greyhounds. They would lose this series in 7 games. The London Knights, they would defeat the Owen Sound Attack in 6 games, while the Kitchener Rangers took care of the Windsor Spitfires in 5 games. Over in the Eastern Conference, the Kingston Frontenacs, they get out of the first round of the 5-game series win over Oshawa. The Barrie Colts, they needed 7 games to get past the Mississauga Steelheads. Well, the North Bay Battalion, also a 7-game thriller, this time against the Peterborough Petes. And the Niagara IceDogs, they would eliminate the Ottawa 67s in 5 games. Looking at the second round, the Erie Otters and Sioux Greyhounds would meet once again in back-to-back seasons, and the Otters again take it, this time in 5 games, while the London Knights complete the series sweep of the Kitchener Rangers. In the Eastern Conference, the Frontenac's run would come to an end as they would be swept by the Niagara IceDogs, while the Barrie Colts would complete the series sweep of the North Bay Battalion. In the conference final, the Erie Otters trying to go to back-to-back OHL championships, but they would be denied as the London Knights would complete the series sweep. And in the Eastern Conference final, it was another sweep, this time the Niagara IceDogs upsetting the Barrie Colts. So we get a rematch for the OHL final, the London Knights against the Niagara IceDogs. These two teams last met in the 2012 OHL final. And in that series, it went 5 games, but this time around, the London Knights would be OHL champions, winning this series in 4 straight. So the London Knights, once again, at the top of the OHL playoff bracket. And this time, the Memorial Cup in 2016 would be held in Red Deer. The Rebels, they were the host. The Brandon Wheat Kings, they would represent the Western Hockey League as league champions, while the Rouyn-Noranda Huskies would be there from the QMJHL. This is actually the first time an Alberta-based team has hosted the Memorial Cup since 1974. I thought that was quite surprising with how many teams are based out of Alberta in the Western Hockey League. Now, the London Knights, perfect 3-0 in the round robin. They outscored their opponents 20-5. The offense was flowing with this London Knights team. In the Memorial Cup final, they would actually need overtime to defeat the Rouyn-Noranda Huskies, where Matthew Tkachuk was the overtime hero, and the London Knights winning the Memorial Cup. As this team, not at the top of the regular season, but once the playoffs got going, this team found their groove, and it just carried right on over into the Memorial Cup, where the Knights would end up on top. Now, quickly, let's take a look at your award winners from the 2015-2016 season. The Red Tilson Trophy would go to Mitch Marner of the London Knights, while Kevin Labanc, he was named the Eddie Powers Memorial Trophy winner from the Barrie Colts. The Jim Mahan Memorial Trophy, that would also go to Kevin Labanc of the Barrie Colts. The Max Kaminsky Trophy, Michael Sergachev of the Windsor Spitfires. Your OHL Goaltender of the Year was Mackenzie Blackwood of the Barrie Colts, while the Dave Pickney Trophy going to Tyler Parsons and Brandon Burke of the London Knights. Alex Nylander of the Mississauga Steelheads, he would be your Rookie of the Year, winning the Ems Family Award. The W.F. Dinty Moore Trophy, that would go to Michael DiPietro of the Windsor Spitfires, while Will Peschnig of the Saginaw Spirit, the Dan Snyder Memorial Trophy winner. The William Hanley, that went to Mike Amadio of the North Bay Battalion. Kevin Labanc winning the Leo Lalonde Memorial Trophy. The Bobby Smith, that went to Nicholas Haig of the Mississauga Steelheads, while Damian Bourne of the Steelheads, he would win the Roger Nielsen Memorial Award, while the Mickey Renaud Captain's Trophy went to Michael Webster of the Barrie Colts, and Mitch Marner, he would take home the Wayne Gretzky 99 Award for the playoff MVP. So that's the 2015-2016 season. Let me know in the comments down below. What was a memory that stood out to you from this season? I'm sure if you're a Knights fan, that ride was quite memorable, just with how the team played that year. And it seemed as though it was Erie versus London all year long. And the Knights, they ended up getting the upper hand in the playoffs, winning the J. Ross Robertson Cup and ultimately the Memorial Cup. So thank you very much for your time. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we will talk to you again soon.